Okay guys, looks like most everyone is here, so I thought we'd go ahead and get started. Um, this webinar, for some of you people who were here the last time or have been to some of the earlier ones, is a repeat. We're just going to go over posting charges to an account as well as to multiple accounts, and then turning around and running the credit cards. With the beginning of the month, this weekend and next week, I thought that might be a good time. We've had so many new DanceWorks Online sign-ups that thought a lot of you guys might have questions about that. So I thought this would be a good opportunity with that coming up for you guys. That way you can turn around and get that done without too much problem. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me get logged in here. Now, if you haven't been to one of these webinars before, let me just kind of tell you what's going to happen. You guys should all be able to hear me. If you're not, just send me a message and let me know. However, I cannot hear you. So I'll go through the presentation. This one doesn't take particularly long, maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And then at the end of the presentation, I will take questions. You should all have a little chat box where you can actually type in a question to me, and then I'll just kind of take those questions and answer them for everyone. So when we get done, feel free to send me any questions you have. And so let's go ahead and get started. So there's three basic ways to post charges to an account. Obviously the most simple on an individual account would just be to pull up that account, go here, and then a couple of ways actually on the account screen that you can go about this. So if you want to enter a charge on an account, you're just going to come here to enter charge, select your charge code. You can also change the date if you need to. So if you wanted this backdated, or if you even wanted it dated into the future, you can do that using the calendar, or just simply type in the date. Nonetheless, you're going to choose your charge code. The amount will come up. It will show you if there's a discount. If there is some sort of discount and you don't want that to apply, just check the box, and then it'll show you the amount with the taxes. And then just simply hit enter charge and you're done. Another way of doing that, actually let me come back to that. Then obviously the next thing you'd probably want to do if you're entering charge is maybe enter a payment. So you would just go to your enter payment screen. Actually, hold on. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. Enter payment. Choose the payment type. Cash, check, credit card, or other if you happen to have it. If you choose credit card, obviously you would need to be set up with PowerPay to process the cards, but when you choose credit card, this information will come up. So if they're giving you a card right there in your studio, you can either just type it in, or if you have a swiper, you can check this box and swipe it. Or you can use card on file, and that will automatically pull the information for you, and then just simply enter the amount and hit enter payment, and then it'll ask you where you want to apply that payment. Now I just paid $1 towards this, but nonetheless, so you could just hit apply, and then you'll see the balance on your payment has gone down to 0. The balance on this particular charge went down to $1, and then you can either print or email a receipt. So let's say they called you and said, hey, I want to pay this over the phone, and you ran the payment. You could just simply hit email, and it will email them the receipt for you. So very simple there. Now, if it happens to be a situation where you're entering a charge and a payment at the same time, that's also very easy to do. So if you're back on the account screen, you can just go enter charge and payment. Come here, choose your date again, choose the charge code you want to use. We'll do something different this time. Let's say they just walked in and registered for the first time, and you charge them a registration fee. In this case, it'd be $20. No discount, no tax. Then you can also enter the payment type. We'll say they wrote us a check. For the reference, we'll put in the check number 1009. Put in the amount, $20. and then hit enter transaction. And then again, it's going to give us the option to either print or email the receipt. If you're emailing, you can choose to include both parent 1 and 2, or just parent 2, or just parent 1. And then hit email and you're done, or you can hit print and it'll print out the receipt and you're done. Now you notice we checked this little box to make this transaction come up. So if there are, with some types of charges, there may be a discount applied to the account that may require you to check that box for the enter transaction button to activate. So if you're ever trying to enter this and you haven't checked this box and you can't get this button to come up, just make sure you check it. Again, that's going to only be on certain accounts that have particular types of discounts, so it's not always going to happen. All right, but with that, then you're done. So pretty easy way of doing that. Now, one little tip I like to show people, because not a lot of people realize it's even there. Let's say you're in the middle of doing something, maybe you're checking a report, and you get a parent calling you and they want to make a payment over the phone. Rather than having to go back to the accounts, scrolling through your list and finding their account, there's an easier way to do it. You can type here in the search field, if you type in Smith, and then once this comes up, you may have to scroll over here a little bit, you can actually jump straight to one of these pages rather than having to go find their account, then hit the transactions page, and then enter charge or payment. You can just go right to enter payment. So if they call you and you're in the middle of something else, you can jump straight to that page, choose credit card, use card on file, and enter your payment, and it saves you a lot of clicking around and scrolling and waiting. Makes it much more efficient for you guys. So that is a way of entering the charges and a payment onto a specific account. Now, there may be situations where you need to charge an entire class. Maybe it's for some sort of fee for that class, or competition fee, or maybe a costume that's specific to that class. You can do that very easily as well. You just go to the particular classes page. So we'll pull up, let's make sure we get one that has people enrolled in our little test school here. So this class has 3 people enrolled. So if you just want to charge the class, you just hit Charge Class button. Choose whatever it is you want to charge them for. We'll say miscellaneous. Maybe you're assessing them some sort of fee for a party they're going to have. I have no idea if that ever actually happens, but we'll just go with it. You can tell them you want to be able to pay it online, or them to be able to pay it online. If you only want to charge the kids who are participating in a recital, you would check that box. Helpful if you're charging for a costume. And if you don't want to use any of the discounts that may apply to their account, you would check this box. So maybe they get some sort of discount on, I don't know what, maybe they just get a discount on pretty much anything, but you don't want to discount this particular fee. You would just check that. Hit enter charge, and it will charge the account of every one of these students. So if you go back to, we'll go back to Jill Smith, and we'll look at her account, and we'll look at the transactions, and there we see our $10 party fee, and it even puts the student's name in the description. So pretty easy way of doing that. You can also credit a class the same way. If you didn't notice that just a second ago, we're on the class screen. There is a charge and a credit class. So maybe you had to cancel a class after the fact, and you want to credit the tuition back to the prorated tuition back to them. You can just hit credit class, put in a description and the amount of the credit, and it will add that credit to each person on the each student enrolled in that class's account. So good way of doing that. So all that's pretty simple stuff. So now here's where it gets a little more, not complicated, but where a lot of people get confused or get lost, or sometimes don't even know that this can be done. So at the beginning of the month, when you get ready to charge all of your monthly people, there is an easy way to charge all of their accounts all at one time, as as well as turn around and run the credit card payments for all of your recurring people at one time. To do this, you're going to go right here to your Charges and Payments tab. You're going to click on, if you want to do tuition charges, you're going to post tuition. Now, it's going to do this by the billing frequency. So let's back up for a second. Let's go look at an account. So if we just look at Arthur Anderson here, you can look at, on their account, how they are actually billed as far as their billing frequency. So this account is actually on a bi-monthly frequency, meaning they probably get billed every 2 months. And studios all have different ways of doing this. Sometimes you offer every 3 months, some of you offer every 4. Doesn't particularly matter what it is, but the important thing is when you go to this tab and you go to charge your tuition, that's how it's pulling the information, is by that billing frequency. So, and what that does is it prevents someone maybe who pays up front and pays an annual frequency, keeps them from getting charged each month. So what you do is just select your particular billing frequency. So if you're doing your bi-monthly people every 2 months, you would come in and do this. But we're just going to stick with monthly. Put in your date. Now, today's August 31st. With tomorrow being the 1st, most of you are going to be charging for the beginning of September. You could actually change this to the 1st, and you'll see the description change with it. And of course, this description you can just type right over if you wanted to change that. So if you change it to the 1st, it will show up on their account today. However, it would be dated tomorrow's date, but it will show up and apply to their balance as of today. So you would just change, again, choose your date, enter your description, make sure your multiplier and any kind of discount you give for that billing frequency is correct. So monthly, so it's going to be a multiplier of 1. Most studios do not give a discount for monthly people. Then you have the option to apply prior open payments or credits to this charge. So if they have some sort of credit balance on their account, or they've made a payment that hasn't been applied to anything, if you check this box, that credit balance or that open payment would get applied to the tuition charge. So if they've paid ahead for something, this is an easy way to take that payment and apply it to their tuition charge. So if they've paid you, if they have a $50 credit balance and their tuition's $150, all they'll owe on that tuition's $100. If you want them to be able to pay online, just make sure that this is checked. If for some reason you don't want to include any assigned discounts for any of those accounts, you would check this. And then any kind of student or account fee you wanted to include, just check off those boxes. And then if you guys prorate the tuition based on the number of classes scheduled for that month, you'll check this box. So basically what that is for the classes that end up with that 5th meeting, say there's 5 Wednesdays in a month. Didn't even look at September. So perfect. September happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. August of this year had 5 Wednesdays. So if you check this box, it will account for that, and it will actually prorate the tuition for them. So some studios do that, some do not. But once you're done, once you have all your settings in, all you got to do is hit Post Tuition. You'll get a little confirmation to make sure you know what you're doing. Hit OK. Should take it, depending on the number of accounts, it's going to take some longer than others. In this case, it didn't take very long at all. And then here it will tell us we had 17 monthly accounts. It posted tuition to 14 of those 17, which is pretty typical. It's not always going to match. Usually it's going to be 4 or 5 off. And then it posted a total of $1,080.70 in tuition for our monthly people. So let's say we had chosen our bi-monthly. You'll see there's only one of those accounts. Well, let's look at our maybe trimester. There's 0. Let's see if we have any others. Looks like the rest are going to be 0. So, and then as you post this over and over, it will build this history here for you. You'll see the plan number which just corresponds to the way this is in the list. So monthly would be number 1, bi-monthly would be number 2. Number 8 would be this payment plan. Gives you the number of accounts, the day it was posted, and then the total. So you can kind of track and look back at, okay, the last month, how much did I post in tuition? And it should be similar. Most of the time it goes up, but sometimes it just kind of depends on what happens during the previous month, how many people added, how many people dropped. So hopefully it's going up for you. All right, so once that's done, now you want to turn around and have these people pay you, which is the most important thing. To do that, you're going to go to Post Credit Card Payments. And you will see a list of all of your recurring people. So these are all people who have a credit card on file who are set up for recurring billing. Let me back up on that as well. So if you go to an account and you're going to put in a credit card, let's go to one that may not have a credit card. This one does. Okay, hold on just a second. Trying to find one that does not have one. There we go. Let's see if this one has a credit card. We do. Okay, well we'll just stick with this. So when you're putting in a credit card, okay, perfect. This one, there's always going to be this box for recurring billing. This one's set to no. So this person should not show up on that list we were just looking at. However, if you hit edit and you change that to yes, they will show up. That means they've agreed for you to bill their card at the beginning of each month. So whenever you enter a credit card, if they want to do the recurring billing, make sure you always change that to yes. And we should see Mr. Tate right here. There we go. All right, so we're ready to go ahead and start to run the cards. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put in the charge type. I think most of you, when you do the recurring, probably just run it for tuition, but you do have the option to run for all charge types. We're going to stick with tuition. You're going to put in the date range. So when you actually process the card, it's going to run their credit card for any tuition charge that hasn't been paid within that date range. So in our case, we're actually going to change this to September 1st because that's what we dated our tuition, and you'll notice that number just went up. If we change this to September 1st, so we're only running the cards for those items dated, and there we go. So of the 1,080, I think it was, tuition that we posted, only 605 of it was for people who had a recurring billing or a recurring credit card. And then you can put in your description. So we're going to change this to September. And then all you got to do is hit process cards. Okay. And then this is just a couple of confirmations here. Be sure you only hit OK one time here. All right, so we want this to email receipts. We're just going to send it to parent 1. We're going to email people whose cards got declined, again to parent number 1. And if you want to edit this message, you can just click the link right there and change the message. And then we're going to require the accounts that get declined to actually put in a new credit card next time they log in. So if their card gets declined right here, the next time they log into their parent account, they will have to change the credit card number. And then we're going to go ahead and hit OK. And it'll take a few minutes to process. I'm sure those of you that have been using this for a while will know that. And then when it finishes processing, it should allow us to print out the results. With that printout, you should be able to choose between printing all the results, just the declined ones, or just the approved ones. There we go. Here we go. So we had 9 declined, it looks like. No, I'm sorry, 9 receipts emailed, 2 declined, and then there were 0 accounts with no email addresses. These are the emails that were sent, and we're just going to hit OK. And then you can print your reports from here. If you ever need to go back and look at a previous one, you can use this button, and that will give you the options to go back and look at your previous postings. Okay, so short and sweet. There's not a whole lot to that. Pretty much done with our presentation. One other thing, if you ever need to view a batch, either active or closed, you can come right here, choose the batch number, and view that, or you can go to settlement history as well. So there's that. Other than that, I am ready. If you guys have any questions, I will be happy to try to answer as many as I can. We still have quite a bit of time. Not a big crowd today, so we should be able to, if you have anything, feel free to send it in. No questions today? Are we shy today? Okay, looks like nobody's got any questions today, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. That was pretty short and sweet. I will try to get this posted. We have recorded this, so I'll try to get this up and posted on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page maybe today. That way, if you guys have any issues as you're trying to post tuition, you can actually come back and watch the video. And then we'll start from here on out, we'll start posting our webinars on there. Normally we're going to wait a few days just so that we keep the attendance at the actual webinar up. But since this one is kind of coming up against the wall with you guys posting you're actually doing this, then we'll go ahead and get it posted up for you so you can watch it if you need it over the weekend. Other than that, you guys all have a great Labor Day weekend. I hope you're all getting Monday off, and we will talk to you next week.
The organizer